Hey guys, it is Sunday night, and I know that I didn't update you guys the other day due to my gag order or whatever we want to call it, right? All right, but today I have got news. I have got news and an important update to follow the news. All right. The news is the CDC called today around lunchtime and said that we are all clear that it was the bee flu and gastroenteritis or whatever, which is something I personally have all the time because I'm a truck driver. I also have that diverticulitis thing, which I call driverticulitis, right? Because it's a truck driver thing. But plenty of sauerkraut, and you ain't got to worry about that so much. It's okay, okay. But there is breaking news involved. That's something that we've talked about a lot. I'm waiting for that super secret text that is soon to come through. It's not here yet. Stay tuned. Oh my God, guys, what's wrong with me? Could it be the beer? It might be. But anyway, I have alluded to this in past videos on this subject. I could not find or confirm anything about it. It was just what a nurse had told me in the ER. She told me that there was 7 different strains that they was tracking. I don't know where she got this information. Maybe she was banging somebody, right? And they told her. But then I find this post today, and I'm going to read it to you guys, all right? Because this kind of stuff matters to us. Clarity and clear sight is important in these kind of situations, but it's always a matter of bait and switch. It's just a government thing, right? Bait and switch, and they lead you in one direction. It's like a shell game, 3-card Monte or whatever, all right? 8 strains of the coronavirus are circling the globe. Here's what clues they're giving scientists. This is in USA Today. Ought to be able to somehow, somewhat believe that, right? Okay. This is from San Francisco, liberal reg, okay. At least 8 strains of the coronavirus are making their way around the globe, creating a trail of death and disease that scientists are tracking by their genetic footprints. I'll try to shorten this up, okay, because, it's a big read. But it's going to say something along the lines of they all have different symptoms, different outcomes, and, of course, then you're going to be able to catch all 8 strains eventually, right? Okay, while much is unknown in the darkness, hidden in the virus' unique microscopic footprints are clues to the origins of its original strain, how it behaves as it mutates, and which strains are turning into conflagrations while others are dying out thanks to quarantine measures. Guys, have you seen the quarantine efforts going on? There was a live feed today. They have a line of cars going into Florida. They're turning cars away, and they're making other cars go to they're making them self-quarantine. Okay, this is good. This is really good because it's not 1919 when this went around. It's now, and people are so entitled that they don't realize that quarantine is the only way to stop this. Okay, huddled in once bustling and now almost empty labs, researchers who oversaw dozens of projects are instead focused on one goal: tracking the current strain of the SARS-CoV-2, which is COVID-19. That's its official designation. Yes, guys, it's a SARS virus. Okay, I know that's confusing to some people that maybe you wasn't around, or you didn't understand the whole SARS things, and you don't understand that the coronavirus the common code was named coronavirus in 1932. That's the name of the common code. So there are many strains of the common code, right? But these 8 strains are all 8 strains of the COVID-19. All right? Labs around the world are turning their sequencing machines, most about the size of a desktop printer, to the task of rapidly sequencing the genomes of viruses, samples taken from people sick with the COVID-19. The information is uploaded to a website called nextstrain.org that shows how the virus is migrating and splitting into similar but new subtypes, hybrids. All right, that's why everything goes to the CDC, because there may not be a great organization, but they're good at doing their specific things that they do. While researchers caution they're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, the tiny difference between the virus strains suggests shelter-in-place orders are working in some areas and that no one strain of virus is more deadly than another. They also say it does not appear the strains will grow more lethal as they evolve. Pluto used to be a planet, okay? The virus mutates so slowly that the virus strains are fundamentally very similar to each other. This thing ain't been around very long, right? They call that slow. Maybe in the time span of a genome it is. Okay. So, a professor of medicine and infectious diseases at the University of California, San Francisco School of Medicine, he's the one that said that. Okay. The SARS, COVID-19, first began causing illnesses in China sometime between mid-November and mid-December. Remember, right after that is when came Chinese New Year that they let go on, instead of canceling, as they squashed the doctor that put the information out there originally. Don't squash me. All right, just saying. All right. Okay. Its genome is made up of, do y'all want the 30,000 base pairs? Okay, does that mean anything to you? Humans, by comparison, have more than 3 billion. Okay, so it means it's a simple organism compared to us. Okay, so far, even in the virus's most divergent strains, scientists have found only 11 base pairs. That's nice. Okay, that makes it easy to spot new lineages as they evolve, said Chu. Ain't it funny that Mr. Chu is involved in this? Okay. The outbreaks are trackable. We have the ability to do genomic sequencing almost in real time to see what strains of lineage are circulating, he said. So far, most cases on the U.S. West Coast are linked to the strain first identified in Washington state. It may have come from a man who had been in Wuhan, China. We're speculating now, okay? In the epicenter, returned home on January the 15th. They think they know exactly who he is, apparently, or at least what day he got there from the spread. More speculation. It is only 3 mutations away from the original Wuhan strain. So apparently the Wuhan strain mutated in its infancy, and the one that first stepped off the plane here was already three mutations away. You know what happens with mutations, right? The next thing you know, you've got psychic powers. You can levitate or whatever. So is that what these genes can do? Why not, right? I mean, this ain't television, but it is television because I'm talking to you and you might be watching on a television, all right? So, blah, 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 blah. Complication, no, I can't read that. It's too diverse. On the East Coast, there are several strains, including the one from Washington and others that appear to have made their way from China to Europe and then to New York and beyond. Are these viruses mutating by the genetic footprint of the animals that they are finding themselves in? When I say animals, I mean the humans, because all of us, let's just face the fact, okay? We are all one species, but we are all slightly different genetically in an ethnic way. Please don't anyone take that to mean anything bad. I'm just saying we are not all the same, even if we are all equal. And what is my phone is doing? The government's interfering with my phone over here. Oh, it's jumping around. Okay, let me move that. Just bear with me. Okay. Beware pretty pathologic trees. Okay, that's it. We're talking about the branching out, right? Okay, this isn't the first time scientists have scrambled to do a genetic analysis of a virus in the midst of an epidemic. They did it with an Ebola, Zika, and West Nile, and yes, they did. I remember all of that, but nobody outside the scientific community paid much attention. I did, because this is, I think a virus will be the biggest death of us other than ourselves, okay? This is the first time that the paleogenic tree have been all over Twitter, because apparently you can find all this information on Twitter. I'm telling you guys that we sit here and we watch the news, but the news hides so much. You get more real news from people out here doing their own research or finding their own stuff, because they'll report it out of sequence and more. They're not under the government's umbrella of shh, be good, right? Okay, so it's on Twitter. Professor ascribes to research, a nonprofit biomedical science research facility in La Jolla, California, speaking of the diagrams that show the evolutionary relationships between different strains of an organism. The maps are available on NextStrain, an online resource for scientists that use data from academic, independent, and government laboratories all over the world to visually track the genomics of the SARS virus. It currently represents genetic sequencings of strains from 36 countries on 6 continents. We don't want the government controlling everything, guys. We want people, we want individuals out there, like stargazers, right? Who's going to find that asteroid that's going to hit the Earth and destroy it and release the information? It's going to be some kid in the middle of Nebraska, right? Just somebody that happens to spend their time hobbying around. Okay, while the maps are fun, they can also be a little dangerous, said Anderson. The trees showing the evolution of the virus are complex, and it's difficult even for experts to draw conclusions from them. Guys, there are no experts. They're people that have a degree, so they think they are experts. Remember, Pluto was a planet. Okay, remember, we're seeing a very small glimpse into the much larger pandemic. We have 500,000 described cases right now, but maybe 1,000 genome sequences. So there are a lot of lineages we're missing. So there's a lot more than 8 lineages of this virus. And they know that, okay? They call it a short time, and that probably is in the lifespan of a virus. But to us, the people that are dying today, your loved ones that are going to come down with this, and you're going to know somebody's going to die from this. Different symptoms, same strains. The COVID-19 hits people differently, with some feeling only slightly under the weather for a day, others flat on their back sick for 2 weeks, and about 15% hospitalized. Currently, an estimated 1% of those infected die. That's funny they give that number when actually the world number, and don't go off of any one country's numbers, the world number is 4% death rate. Damn, this is a hard table. Okay, the rate varies greatly by country, and experts say it is likely tied to testing rates rather than actual mortality. Hachu says it appears unlikely the differences are related to people being infected with different strains of the virus. We don't trust Hachu. The current virus strains are still fundamentally very similar to each other, he said. The COVID-19 virus does not mutate very fast. It does so 8 to 10 times more slowly than the influenza virus, said Anderson, making its evaluation rate similar to other coronaviruses such as SARS and Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, okay? Some of these things have been weaponized, guys. It also not expected to spontaneously evolve into a free form more deadly than it already is to humans. It is so good at transmitting itself between human hosts, said Anderson. It is under no evolutionary pressure to evolve. You know, I really hate speculation, right, when it comes to science. I like science fact. I don't think we're going to have no science fact until we're aliens rushing around in spacecraft and we look back at the past. Over half of the 50 SARS viruses genomes in San Francisco-based lab sequences in the past 2 weeks are associated with travel from outside the states. Another 30% are associated with healthcare workers and families of people who have the viruses. Only 20% are coming from within the community. It is not circulating widely, he said. That's fantastic news, he said, indicating the virus has not been able to gain a serious foothold because of social distancing. Keep your distance. If you're screwing somebody and you get this from them, it becomes a sexually transmitted disease, in my opinion. Just saying, okay? It is like a wildfire, Hachu said. A few sparks might fly off the fire and land in the grass and start a new fire. But if the main fire is doused and its embers stomped out, you can kill off an entire strain. In California, Hachu sees a lot of sparks hitting the ground, most coming from Washington, but they're quickly being put out. I don't think I'm going to read no more, guys. A bunch of it's just hyperbole, and it's just bullcrap trying to tell us how it's all going to be all right. What with undertones of death and destruction and the end of the world, all tied into it. But remember, this is just one man's reporting on something that I just read that doesn't matter because I don't have a degree, so it doesn't matter. Matters to you, don't it? Matters in our life. But I don't trust anything that anyone puts out if it comes with rays of hope. A ray of hope will come when they shut this country down for a month or whatever it takes. Just shut it down. I hope people are ready when that comes, because that's what's coming. They're just easing us into it in a very gentle manner, like I said from the very beginning, and it will come. And that will then be the end of this. Till next winter. Or whatever, right? I hope we don't end up with this every winter. But we probably will. But maybe, come winter, we'll be a little bit more into social distancing. And every time you turn around, your grandma won't be saying, oh, I need to run to the store and get some kitty litter because she only has one bag of kitty litter, right? I mean, come on. If you can't be prepared for life, maybe you should not be alive. But don't take everybody else out with you. Think about it, because we are a tight-knit group of chimpanzees, and what happens to one of us does happen to all of us. All right. You guys have a spectacular day. We're going to live for the moment. We're not going back to work. Unless somebody asks. If the government calls and says, hey, dude, you're self-contained, will you haul some kitty litter? I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm out there. I'm hauling your kitty litter. But until they call, I'm probably not going to do it. Uncle Sam, you got my number. You've called it before. Bye-bye.